This is our second part in our four-part look at the remaining standard tag libraries that we included with the standard tag library other than the core. So last time we looked at the formatting standard tag, the FMT prefix. This time we're going to look at using the SQL standard tag. So we've already included this project before, JSTL other predefined tag libraries.war, but in case you're starting here for some reason, go ahead and load that up, and that will contain the code we're looking at. So we're going to be looking strictly at the SQL file today, as well as the web XML, just because that's where our parameters are. So once again, we have DB user ID, password, and initial catalog, and we needed to add the URL because we're doing this a little differently. So what we'll see is the way that we were doing it previously is much more robust than just using tags, but it is possible to use tags in the SQL namespace to actually go ahead and do this. So here's our SQL tag library, which we again include as a tag library directive, which is the prefix SQL, and the SQL follows JSTL just like core did before. Now it's SQL. What we're going to do here is basically set up our data source and query our data. Now there are more things available, such as using updates and transactions. Once again, you can look into those in more detail should you desire to do so. But I just wanted to take a quick look at it, and we'll have a table here once again with tag and example. Here we're going to just set the data source. We can do that using SQL or SQL, set data source. We'll just create a variable name called world data. Our driver is going to be our JDBC driver for MySQL or whatever database you're using, which if you're following along with our videos here, it's MySQL. And we have the URL, which is going to pull directly from our init parameter, a user, which is an init parameter, and a password. So nothing will print out here, so I just basically said C code, but you can see that that code is in place to set up the data source. Now, of course, once we have the data source with a variable name called world data, then we can reference that in our query. So to create a SQL query or SQL query, we just use the query tag. We set the data source to our variable that we just created up above, and we essentially can put in any select statement. We could use a variable here, an expression out of the config file or the XML file if we wanted to, or we can just tag it in here directly, select star from cities I've done. That also needs a variable name so that we can use it. Just to make things easy, I'm simply showing the ID, name, and country code. And here we have for each variable data row in the city data.rows. So this is just a little different than our direct access to the record set or result set that we were using in our servlet before. Now we actually have a data row in a collection of rows, and each row, of course, is going to have access to those parameters pulled directly from that query. So we could do more than ID, name, and country code here, but that's all we're going to display today. And if you wanted to continue your study of this, you could go into more detail and try to add in some of the other parameters or do some more things with a different select query, however you so desire. But again, we're just taking a brief look at it here. So there are more tags available for things like updating, actually passing in parameters. So if you wanted to do a parameterized query, rather than just select star, you could actually take parameters from a user, etc. So those things are capable of being done through here, but there's no need for us to go into that much detail. Again, this would violate our MVC pattern that we're looking for, because now our view is actually working as a controller and a model, because it essentially knows the data structure for world data for the city that it needs to use. It's actually building that. It's actually querying, controlling that data. So all three of them are being done right here on the page, which is really bad if you're trying to get to MVC. So we're not actually going to do this going forward, but again, it is possible to do. Let's go ahead and run our SQL.jsp or SQL.jsp page. And we should see our data pull from our database just like we expect, and there it is.